Anybody who has spent any amount of time looking into the fat acceptance cesspool will have noticed that fat activists tend to have a massive, pun intended, problem with entitlement. Whether it be Virgie Tovar demanding that healthy, non-obese men find her sexy, or insecure teenage girls on Tumblr demanding fat athletes, there is a virtually never-ending list of things that these people feel entitled to. This video was originally going to be titled Fat Activism versus Effort, until I realised that the entitlement is the main driver behind their laziness. For example, this Facebook thread is calling the Olympics fat-phobic because none of the athletes are morbidly obese. I couldn't help but notice that they talk about joyful movement as if it is akin to Olympic gymnastics, as if they're no longer allowed to move whatsoever because it isn't Olympic level. What they fail to realise here is that sport, or movement, isn't some sort of evil monolith, in which all of the participants are highly focused on performance and competition. They say they won't even try to move unless they get to the Olympics, which is beyond Dunning-Kruger. It's the same logic as a child claiming that they will never pick up a pencil again in their lives unless their art is hung up in galleries next to masterpieces. Also, if they had even bothered to watch this year's Olympics, then they would have noticed that there are actually quite a number of body types among the athletes. They feel entitled to fat gymnast representation, despite the fact that both men and women's gymnastics rely very heavily on flexibility, stability, and overall require a massive amount of control and consistency, which is much harder if you are fat. It will come as no surprise that many gymnasts are not obese, often with well-developed muscles, since training intensively enough to get to Olympic standards burns calories and builds muscle. They also tend to be quite short because a lower centre of mass is useful when it comes to skills that require balance and control. None of this is because of fat phobia or heightism. Some people just have traits that are beneficial to their sport. You don't see many skinny wrestlers in the same way you don't see many short basketballers. This may all seem ridiculously simple, and I do apologise if this comes across as condescending or patronising, but some people really are thick enough to need it spelling out this clearly. Well, maybe not thick as much as just delusional. You see, they don't want to be a fat gymnast. They just want Simone Biles to be 300 pounds so they feel better about their own abilities. They complain about wanting fat-only gyms they can practice joyful movement without being judged, but they do not build, crowdfund, or even attend fat-only gyms. They say that artists who don't draw fat people who look exactly like them are fat-phobic, but they don't draw any fat art. They claim that thin people have to find them attractive and have sex with them, but they don't find each other attractive. The pattern emerging here is pretty clear. They want the entire world to bend over backwards for them, out of thin guilt, and then will not put in any of the effort to get the things they claim they need. It will come as a shock to nobody that many body-positive influencers start out as weight-loss influencers who turn to haze when they fail, with their addictive personalities seeking out enablement wherever possible. By burying their heads in the sand of fake science and faux oppression, their failure no longer reflects a personal failure, and instead reflects the inevitability of fatness. By convincing themselves that their food addiction is not pathological, and is just a perfectly healthy and natural way of being, they start demanding things that they are not actually entitled to. The way they see it, they're always going to be fat in the same way that a black person will always be black, or a gay person will always be gay. So their list of demands and entitlements, in their eyes, is no different to the civil rights movement. All addicts are inherently wired to have major entitlement problems. They have no desire to change their situation because that would involve putting in effort, waiting, maintaining progress, and having self-awareness to understand the roots of their addiction. So instead, some of them pretend to be helpless victims who need constant help from others. They do not want liberation or rights in the same way that real minorities do. They don't want equal opportunity to work, or drive, or do any of the other things that responsible adults do, and instead want to create a world in which their addiction is enabled, and everybody else has to invest their efforts into coddling the fat activists and affirming their delusions. This is no different to an alcoholic demanding that their parents remortgage the house to pay for their rent, or that their doctors undergo new training that states that alcoholic liver cirrhosis is just a drunk-phobic conspiracy. Imagine if nicotine addicts got enraged every time that cigarette advertising was pulled, or claimed to be discriminated against when peer-reviewed studies proved a link between chain smoking and throat cancer. Aside from the entitlement, there's an awful lot of black and white thinking. All movement has to be award-winning and Olympic level, otherwise it's not even worth doing. You aren't allowed to be attracted to anybody unless you're attracted to everybody, since having preferences is bigoted, and no diet has ever been able to work for anybody since it failed for them. Since this video discusses entitlement and body positivity, it would be deeply wrong of me not to mention the undisputed confidence queen of both of these kingdoms. That is Anna O'Brien, otherwise known as Glitter and Lasers. She's a failed weight loss, a body positive fitness and travel influencer with millions of totally real followers and a ridiculously expensive book full of generic Barnum statements about being happy. She has many other qualifications tightly squeezed under her belt, such as being a professional dancer just like Amberlynn Reid, a professional toddler,
so cute! Back, here we go.
And a professional crier. Introduction aside, I'm sure that many of you already know who Anna is, and by extension of that you're probably familiar with her entitlement, depersonalisation of her body, and overt food aggression. With her, it is always a flesh prison that she had no hand in constructing, and she often talks about adapting things to her body, as if it is a completely separate entity that she is battling to control. Her thoughts on weight loss also follow the black and white modality of the fat acceptance community, as she considers putting in a small amount of effort once to be the same as putting in continual effort over several years. This is Anna's blog from 10 years ago, in which she states multiple times that she'd like to lose weight and live a healthier lifestyle. And this is her now, undergoing liposuction after a failed Run Lab partnership that proved she cannot run, and a failed Wegovy sponsorship that she tried to keep hidden. The liposuction is also part of a sponsorship from the surgeon's office, by the way, if anybody cares. Anna is unbelievably bad at being transparent regarding her sponsorships, and instead wants us all to believe that her results, albeit negligible, are all down to her hard work. She went through a rather insufferable phase of filming herself standing in a gym wearing brightly coloured lycra and pulling silly faces, spending thousands on photos from the photographer that Sports Illustrated magazine uses, and running. Anna's career has been able to succeed because of outrage clicks or false hero narratives provided to her by media outlets, and she seriously believes that if she farts about in a gym or takes some bikini pictures trying to look sultry, then she'll be the next Tess Holiday. She also spends a lot of time going on holiday for free because of partnerships with travel agencies, but you can guarantee that she spends most of the trip either playing up her quirky fat girl persona when there's a camera nearby, drinking, talking sanctimoniously about her body disabling her, drinking, or complaining.
No one came, so I'm sitting on a scale because I was going to pass out. They gave me water, and so I'm just waiting for John to get here and help me out. I swear my gate's like 8,000 million miles away, and every step is painful, and I'm just here sucking it up. Because what other choice do I have? I feel like I'm cursed when it comes to airlines and this trip, but at least I'm here at gate. This has been worse than the way out here, essentially. We were supposed to pre-board because I just had surgery, and they screwed up my tickets, wouldn't let me pre-board, and then a guy ran into my wound on the side and just stabbed it. So now my legs are throbbing. This is exactly why we're trying to pre-board, so we can get hit by something.
So far, even free trips that most people would jump at, and heavily discounted or even free semaglutide, isn't enough. For Anna, life is just a cycle of get free thing, cry and complain about free thing, and then wait for another free thing to make up for whatever she just whinged about. Sometimes, though, Anna isn't being pandered to by large companies with big PR teams, and is instead trying it on with local businesses whilst being filmed. One of Anna's first controversies included the clothing section of a Target store, which most of her, well, not fans, let's say viewers, saw as a jumping off point. Anna, like many other body-positive influencers, makes a better living than I ever will by moaning about how clothes aren't designed to fit her body, even though she only wears a 3X. Okay, Anna, I'll take your word for that. Target does have a plus-size section, so one may think she'd be all over it. And that's where you'd be wrong. She went into Target and started pottering about the non-plus size section, complaining about how none of the clothes will fit her, only to then start redressing a mannequin because she didn't like the outfit. Call me fat-phobic, but I'd become a nudist before taking fashion advice from this lass, even though all of a sudden she is the leading expert on mannequin dressing. Anybody who has ever had a job, or known someone who has, probably knows that employees could get into trouble for this dramatic redressing, but Anna doesn't think about that. Anna wants, Anna gets. We can see even more of this entitled behaviour every time she walks into an establishment, and the drama is only intensified when the business sells food. In this possibly sponsored video, Anna's food aggression comes out in full force. I say possibly sponsored because, again, she practically never discloses when she is being paid to promote a brand. However, not every instance of food aggression is quite so overt. Bagelgate, as it is known in the community, is another infamous event in Glitter and Laser's herstory. Anna films herself in New York, walking 2 miles to get to a bagel shop while supposedly on a diet to combat her lipedema. Hey guys, do you know she has lipedema?
Hi, my name's Anna, and if you're new here, I have lipedema. My name is Anna, and if you're new here, I have lipedema, and I'm having surgery on it. Hi, my name's Anna, and if you're new here, I have a condition called lipedema, and I'm getting surgery to treat it. My name's Anna, I have a condition called lipedema, and in 3 days, I'm having surgery to treat it. Hi, my name's Anna, and if you're new here, I have a condition called lipedema, and in 2 days, I'm having lipedema removal surgery.
It's only how she opens every video. Anyway, she's walking and being quirky as one does, when she starts mocking some children dancing.
The dog turned to me and he described me so accurately. They hype you up for 50 minutes, and then they do, like it's like watching your nephew dance in his bedroom. Look what I can do. But like, honestly, now occasionally you'll get a crew that's like really good, but most of the time that's not the case.
Multiple times.
Like, look what I can do. Look what I can do. Now what?
She then complains about having to wait for some candy floss in earshot of the store employee, acting like her precious time and energy is being wasted in some personal fat-phobic attack.
We've been here like 30 to 40 minutes and it's still not up and running. And our artist is running late. And I have a limited amount of capacity for standing and walking today. And I really want that bagel, so we might have to abandon this side quest. And a little bummed, but it's okay. I'd rather have a bagel than this anyway.
She then waddles off to a bagel shop only to be given the wrong bagel.
I got home. I immediately put on my pajamas and I was so excited because I opened my bagel and I'm like, I can't wait to eat my pumpernickel bagel because it's my favorite thing, like pumpernickel. Like, I'm an old man at heart, and you know what? It's not pumpernickel. They messed it up. It's not even the right bagel. It's not even the right cream cheese. It's oat. It's an oat bagel with, I'm not exactly sure. I think it's veggie cream cheese. So like, somebody else probably has my order. This is probably somebody else's bagel.
She then proceeds to cry about it.
What a way to end this video! I walked 2 damn miles in pain for a bagel. I didn't even get the right bagel. Don't you guys know how hard that was for me? And I'm like, I don't know whether to cry or laugh because, God, sometimes you just can't win. Sometimes you just can't win. Well, I walked 2 miles for a bagel and I guess I didn't get it.
Luckily for Anna, she was given some free bagels not long after. This just doesn't display her addiction to food by showing how agitated she becomes when she can't get it. It also shows a complete lack of accountability. In her mind, liposuction will be the magic bullet that cures her, since she seems to believe that she has no non-lipedema fat. She gets to walk around filming herself eating constantly, but every few months we're treated to a long video of her crying about her health and weight with soda or junk food clearly present in the background. Anna feels entitled to success that she has done nothing to work towards. Neither I, or anybody else, saw her using compression garments, doing massages, or basically anything else that can help lipedema until after her first round of liposuction, yet she cried about doing all she could in the surgeon's office. She didn't even stay on Wegovy. Do you know how hard it is to not lose weight on semaglutide? Anna also enjoys making fitness content, as I mentioned earlier, doing workouts that are actually quite dangerous to her joints at that size. Yes, she believes that her eating will be completely offset and place the victim when it inevitably isn't. Anna is like many body positive influencers in a number of ways. The false and toxic positivity, the semi-god complex and arrogance, the lies, and most of all, the entitlement. Well, thank you for watching this video. I'm trying to make them a bit more consistent, and this isn't just going to be some sort of reaction channel about fat activism or body positivity, but I quite enjoy making these videos. So, hopefully you enjoyed it. Tell me what you think about this in the comments, and let me know, do you follow Anna at all? How long have you known about her, and what was the jumping off point for you? Goodbye.